Gravity is the most familiar force in your life, and also the one you understand the least. Right now, it is holding you in your chair, holding the air against the planet, holding the planet to the sun. You have felt it every single second since the moment you were born. And yet, if I asked you what gravity actually is, you would probably struggle, because the real answer is far stranger than the one you were taught in school. So let me ask the question that pulls the whole thing apart. What would actually happen to your body and to everything else if gravity simply switched off? The answer reveals that gravity is not really a force at all, and that it is the one thing the universe cannot do without. Let me start with what we know, because the first surprise is that almost everyone, including most of us, pictures gravity wrong. You probably imagine gravity as a kind of invisible pull, a force reaching up out of the earth and tugging you down, the way Isaac Newton described it 300 years ago. That picture works beautifully for everyday life. But it is not what is really happening. In 1915, Albert Einstein gave us a deeper and far weirder answer. Gravity, he showed, is not a force pulling on you at all. It is the bending of space and time themselves. Every object with mass warps the space around it, like a heavy ball pressing down into a stretched rubber sheet. And what you feel as the pull of gravity is simply you, following the curves of that warped space. The Earth is not reaching up to pull you down. The Earth has bent the space you are standing in, and you are sliding into the dent. You are falling, right now, into a hollow in the shape of space, and the floor is the only thing stopping you. This is not a metaphor. It is measured, tested, and confirmed to staggering precision. And it leads straight to the most misunderstood fact in all of space travel. When you see astronauts floating on the space station, drifting around as if weightless, you have been told they are in zero gravity. They are not. Up there, only a couple hundred miles above us, Earth's gravity is still nearly as strong as it is on the ground. So why do they float? Because they and their entire station are falling. Constantly. They are moving sideways so fast that as they fall toward the Earth curves away beneath them just as quickly, so they keep missing it, falling around the planet forever. That is all an orbit really is. A permanent, graceful fall. The astronauts float not because gravity is gone, but because they and everything around them are falling together. Take away the floor, and you would float too. There is a beautiful clue hidden in that, the one that set Einstein down the whole path. He called it the happiest thought of his life. A person in free fall, he realized, feels no gravity at all. Step off a ledge or ride a falling elevator the instant the cable snaps, and for those few seconds you are weightless, floating, exactly like an astronaut, because you and everything around you are falling together. The thing we feel most constantly in our lives simply vanishes the moment we stop fighting it and let ourselves fall. And that is the giveaway that gravity was never an ordinary force at all. A real force you would still feel while falling. Gravity you only ever feel when something, the floor, the chair, the solid ground, reaches up and stops your fall. Now let us actually do it. Imagine the gravity around you, just yours, switched off. At first it feels like a dream. You drift gently up off the floor. But your body does not like it, not at all, and we know exactly what happens because we have watched it happen to astronauts for 60 years. With no gravity pulling your blood and fluids down toward your feet, they shift upward and pool in your head and chest. Your face puffs and reddens. Your legs grow thin. Your heart, no longer working against gravity, begins to change shape and shrink. Your bones, sensing they are no longer needed to hold up your weight, start quietly dissolving themselves, leaking away more than 1% of their density every single month. Your muscles waste. The fluid pressing on the back of your eyes reshapes them, and your vision blurs. Your body, it turns out, is not just surviving gravity. It is built around it. It needs the fight. Astronauts come home shorter, weaker, their hearts deconditioned, some with their eyesight permanently changed by months of fluid pressing on the optic nerve, and it takes a long, careful rehabilitation back on the ground to claw most of it back, if they ever fully do. 4 billion years of evolution shaped your body around a struggle you never even notice, and it does not know how to stop fighting. And gravity runs to the other extreme too. Where Newton saw a gentle pull, that same curved space can become so ferocious it crushes a whole star into a black hole, bends light around itself, and stops time at its edge. The force weak enough to ignore for your entire life is, at its most extreme, the most violent thing in all of existence. It is the same single phenomenon, the bending of space and time, dialed from a whisper all the way up to a scream. But that is just you, in one room. Now switch gravity off everywhere, and the gentle dream becomes an instant catastrophe, because gravity is the only thing holding the world together. The atmosphere, that thin shell of air you are breathing, is held against the planet by gravity and by nothing else. Remove it, and the air simply drifts away, off into space, and you suffocate in a spreading vacuum. The oceans lift off their beds. Everything not bolted down, your house, the water, the very soil, begins to float free and disperse. Within minutes, the living surface of the earth would come apart and drift, silently, into the dark. And here is the catch, the part that turns this from a disaster movie into something much deeper. We have been talking about switching gravity off as if it were a light switch. But gravity is not a thing inside the universe that you could flip. It is the shape of the universe. And once you understand that, you realize you cannot remove it without unmaking absolutely everything. Walk it all the way back. Gravity is the force that pulls matter together. In the early universe, it was gravity, and only gravity, that gathered the thin, scattered gas into the first dense clumps. It pulled those clumps tighter and tighter until their centers grew hot and crushed enough to ignite, and the first stars switched on. It is gravity that gathers stars into galaxies, dust into planets, and you into a single solid body instead of a loose cloud of atoms. Take gravity away, truly away, and none of it ever happens. No stars ever light. No planets ever form. No galaxies, no warmth, no chemistry, no life. The universe would be nothing but a cold, thin, perfectly even fog of gas, drifting apart forever in the dark, an empty room that nothing ever built anything inside. So what would happen if there were no gravity? In a single room, your body would slowly betray you, exactly the way the astronauts' bodies do. On a planet, the air and the oceans, and you would drift off into space within minutes. And in the universe as a whole, The honest answer is that there would be no universe to ask the question in. No you, no earth, no stars. Nothing but an endless, featureless haze, because gravity is not one force among many. It is the architect. It is the thing that took a smooth, empty cosmos and clumped it into worlds and suns and minds. That is the cosmic maybe, though it is less a maybe than a quiet certainty hiding inside a child's question. The physics here is settled. Gravity is curved space, not a pull. The floating astronauts are falling, not weightless. Your body is built around a fight you never even notice. And the deepest truth is the simplest one. We ask what the universe would be like without gravity, and the answer is that there would be nothing to be like anything at all. Gravity is not something in the universe. Gravity is what made the universe a place where there can be a you sitting in a chair, held gently to the world, wondering what would happen if you weren't.